Hi guys, so we continue with the Snow White Winter in Europe tour. This next 3 episodes will be covering the what I call triple chasing the Northern Lights. So it's the 3 countries I went when I was trying to see the Northern Lights. So we start with Norway. So we start the triple chase with Norway, and this was 2017. And when you're chasing the Northern Lights, it is one of the most enjoyable experience, but it's risky and expensive at the same time because you will probably spend a lot of money to go to the places where you need to be able to see it. And secondly, you are not always assured that you will actually see. I left the Netherlands to go to Norway, and morning hours, and I had just a day, less than 24 hours in Norway. And so the plan was I land early around 11 and I go into Oslo, and I tour Oslo for a couple of hours, and then I head back to the airport, and then I fly to a town called Bodø, then hopefully see the Northern Lights. And the plan was to get out of the airport. I didn't book a hotel. I was to go out, look for, to a place where I probably could be able to see them, and then come back to the airport, and then leave, get back to Oslo, fly out from Oslo, and I was going to Hungary after that. So this was always what I did. When I landed at the airport, I would look for the information desk, get the map, and then have the areas marked. I would actually even ask for information like, I have only a couple of hours, what do you suggest? And then they would even give me a suggestion if it worked with what I had earlier, so I would take their suggestion, like which is the easiest thing, take the train, take a shuttle, take what, they would give you information, and based on that information you can actually do a very good tour. So when we got to Central Station, I had to take a bus. I'd wanted to see the Viking ships museum, but that was closed that day. To this Norwegian maritime area. And there are a couple of museums that I saw there. Tiki, which is a very interesting story of a Norwegian, and I think there are a couple of countries represented, but there's Norway. The main guy was called Thor, and the story is about how they created this raft, and they actually sailed with the raft to a certain island, and the story, it's even a movie about it. Then there was also the Fram Museum. when I was coming back, I left the bus at some point and walked. So I walked back to this area that had sculptures, and I remember at the park I actually met a lady who was playing with a dog. She was playing fetch with it. She would hit the ball and then the dog would go pick it and bring it back to her. Then I think the dog noticed me and decided, you know what, I'm not bringing the ball back to you, I'll take it to that guy. So the dog brought me the ball. I'm like, okay, what do I do? So I decided, okay, I'll kick it and see. So I kicked the ball, and the dog ran, picked it up excitedly, and then it ran back to me. And it wanted to do that a couple of times. I mean, I kicked it like two times, and the owner is like, I mean, the dog needs to go, but the dog is like, hey, so I had to like ignore it so that it could finally go back to its owner. We went to the castle. Actually went to a couple of places in just one afternoon. I think I had like maybe 5 to 6 hours, and in those 5 to 6 hours I saw a lot in Oslo. Then I went back to the airport, and funny thing, Oslo was like -4 degrees. It was -6 degrees at the airport. I had seen videos of people seeing the northern lights on the plane, so I decided that as I'm flying there, I'll keep a lookout for it, because I wasn't sure when I landed if, you know, how the weather would be. So I kept looking. Funny enough, I saw a glimpse of it, and the photos are the clearest, and they have a lot of grain and a bit noisy, because I tried to add the brightness so that you could see what I was seeing. Because normally with the northern lights, what the eye can see is not what the camera can see. The camera, because we were moving, you know, and I wasn't doing long exposures, was able to take that green a bit, but not as much, you know. And so this is what I saw. So I kept taking photos, just hoping it would even get brighter. And it was lucky that I did, because when I landed in Bodø, it was actually overcast. I met this car hire guy, and I was asking him, you know, like, what is the easiest way to go to town? And the guy decided to offer me a lift to town. So he drove me to town. He took me to this house that had this painting of a lady, like a girl painting the northern lights on. and then he took me to town, and he told me, yeah, so here if you walk around, you can actually maybe find a place to eat, and you know, it's easy. You can don't take a taxi, just walk back. And so that's what I did. I went, I met some kids somewhere, and I think they were drinking or smoking, I don't know what they're doing, and I asked them, you know, where can I have a bite? And they told me, okay, I think there's one fast food area you can get food. It's called Anna's. I looked for it, and had my chips and a burger and soda, and after that I walked out, and I started walking back to the airport, because I had a map, as always. I had a map I was using to walk out, and I kept looking up, just hoping that, you know, it would open up, and the skies would open up, and I would be able to see something. And I walked to the harbor and to the port, actually, and I walked around, and it was interesting. I saw a lot of things, though it was dead at night, and there were not so many people. This is a town of around 50,000 people, and once in a while you'd see people. I had a very eerie feeling, because especially when I was walking at the port, or next to the water there, and you know, you'd hear the water. Now, one thing you need to know is I was going to the northernmost place I've ever been to date. thank God I picked a town that is next to the sea, and it was at the port. I was very lucky because the weather didn't drop. It was wet. It was warmer than in Oslo, and so that was a good thing. And then there were these images on the buildings that looked a bit scary, you know. The airport at Bodø closed between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. So it meant if you're out of the airport, you're out. You can only come back at 4. And when I got back to the airport, it was a bit early, like maybe 3:30 or so. For 30 minutes or so, I slept on the taxi bench, or just lay there waiting for them to open the doors by 4. And it was like feeling like being a homeless guy. That was the exact feeling, being a homeless guy in Norway. But that was the real feeling of traveling. That's like, I had an experience that like the backpackers have, you know. You're a black guy in a small town in Norway, all the way up. You've nowhere to sleep, and I can tell you, it was just an awesome experience walking in that town at night. And then my flight back in the morning was actually very eventful. And you know, the one side there was the moon, on the other side I had the sun rising, the other side was the moon setting, and it was just a wonderful flight back. I'd left my bigger bag in the airport. I think they call it the lost and found place or something. There's a place where I could leave it and pay. And then now I had a smaller backpack that I was walking around with. And so Norway was a very interesting place, and it's where I learned a lot of how to chase these things, because I made mistakes, and from those mistakes I learned a lot. So next time we'll be looking at my trip to Iceland, so don't miss out on that. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment, and we'll see you on the next one.